I just received an intelligence report from one of the paid sources that I do receive. That was kind of curious, and I wanted to share it with you. It says Iran has rejected Palestinian National Authority President Mahmoud Abbas's request to visit the country, Iranian parliamentary stated on Fars news agency reported August 19. However, the official denied conflict between Iran and Hamas and said that any Hamas leader would be welcome in Iran. I don't know if any of you know this, but Saudi Arabia and Egypt are enlisting the help of Hamas right now in trying to defeat the Islamic nation or Islamic State in the Sinai. But in a defensive move by Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia has been financing Hamas in an attempt to wean them away from Iran. So there's been news that Hamas and Iran have had some sort of a split, and this message is determined to put the world at ease that Iran and Hamas are not in any type of conflict. But something else that the official said that really caught my eye, and going on with the article, it says, he also denied that Iran has come to any political settlement with Israel. And the article concludes by saying Saudi Arabia is trying to enlist Hamas when it comes to opposing Iran. I just shared that with you. But like I said, this announcement or even denial that Israel and Iran are even in any type of talks should tell you that there is more that meets the eye than just what you see in the news or whatever the case may be. And as I told somebody who had emailed me regarding some of the reports that I receive or whatever the case may be, that what you hear on the mainstream news may or may not be accurate. See, there's a difference between mainstream news and intelligence sources such as Stratfor or The Economist or Foreign Policy Magazine or even Depka File. The mainstream media is trying to get as many people to look at what they are reporting as possible because they have advertisers and sponsors that they must satisfy. And certainly the more eyeballs that look at what they're printing, the higher the advertising dollar they can charge these companies. That's not so for Stratfor and other sources of this nature. These types of global intelligence reports have to be right, meaning their information has to be accurate and clear. And many of the sources that I do get have proven to be so. I look at it this way. You can listen to the analysts on Fox Sports will say for who they think may win a particular game, or a fighter who may or may not win a fight. But if you really want to know who's probably going to win the fight or win the game, you need to go to Vegas and check who the odds makers have actually chosen. Again, Fox Sports, they basically are getting viewers by presenting what their viewers want to hear. But the odd makers, they don't make any money unless they are right. Well, that's the same way with Stratfor and Foreign Policy Magazine and some of these others who have paid subscriptions. They rely on staying in business by being right. But that's not to say I don't listen to some tabloid-type news services as well, such as the AP or whatever the case may be. In fact, here's a good example. It says, AP exclusive, UN to let Iran inspect alleged nuke work site. And basically what this article is saying is that in a secret deal, a secret agreement that the UN has made with Iran, Iran will be allowed to use its own inspectors to investigate a site it has been accused of using to develop nuclear arms, operating under a secret agreement with the UN. It goes on to say the revelation on Wednesday newly riled Republican lawmakers in the U.S. who have been severely critical of a broader agreement to limit Iran's future nuclear programs signed by the Obama administration, Iran and 5 world powers in July. Those critics have complained that the wider deal is unwisely built on trust of the Iranians, while the administration has insisted it depends on reliable inspections. Well, it will be interesting to see next month what does come of this congressional debate as to whether or not they should approve the Iranian deal that the P5+1 came up with. And if in fact they do agree to allow this to go through, how many nations and or blocks of nations such as the European Union will already drop sanctions and start dealing with Iran in a normal way. In fact, Russia has already begun working with Iran in sealing their deal for their S-300 anti-missile defense system. Now, certainly this is not the top defense system out there, and Israel has indicated even that they believe, although difficult, it is penetrable. And speaking of Hamas earlier, My last report that I presented was that there was a report out there that Israel and Hamas had come to an 8-year ceasefire agreement. And shortly after, there were reports that Israeli leadership had denied that any type of truce had been worked out by Israel and Hamas. And that very well may be the case, but I am still waiting to see if Hamas will step forward and deny it as well. Usually when such reports do become public, Hamas is usually the first one to step up and denounce it and also say a few choice words of hate toward Israel. But so far that has not happened yet, but I'm waiting to see if that's actually going to take place. But these are definitely two situations that I would keep my eye on. Is Israel in a political understanding secretively with Iran? That very well could be the case, and maybe we'll be hearing more about that in the future. Has Hamas and Israel come to an agreement or some type of truce that they very well may be announcing here in the near future? Well, certainly this isn't the first time that Israel and Hamas have been talking about a long-term truce, but so far nothing has been accomplished. And if you don't know the Lord, I would invite you today to come to know Him, because tomorrow may be too late. You know, 150,000 people die every single day. The Bible says the vast majority will end up in a burning hell. Don't let that happen to you. Come to the Lord today. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.